Hello, friends. It's Nancy from Astrology and Angel Mediums. I wanted to do a pick a pile again for this week as we're celebrating Ostara and the spring equinox, as well as the beginning of the astrological new year with Aries, or with the sun moving into Aries. So, as we do have eclipse season about to begin, I wanted to kind of do a little something fresh and see what we have. So pick a card that you feel drawn to, and then we're going to do kind of a pile of cards for that reading for you. Or you can kind of choose which crystal you feel drawn to. So here's 1, 2, and 3. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Choose what you need. And whenever you're ready, you can kind of jump to whatever pile you chose. All right, pile number 1. Very first thing that we have is going to be a red tiger eye. And to me, this crystal is really about that base chakra, that root chakra kind of energy of really rooting yourself, really protecting yourself, kind of gaining your energy back, doing things that feel good for you, taking care of the physical body. And so if you're drawn to this, maybe this is something that you need to kind of take care of within yourself. So the card for you is Strength. And it's interesting because this is going to be actually the card of this year for 2024. And so to me, this is really just reflecting having to reconnect to this energy within yourself, really recognizing how powerful you truly are, reconnecting to that solar plexus kind of energy of really learning to trust your gut, learning to trust your instincts, really moving forward while understanding that you have everything that you need at your disposal when it comes to your personal strength. And you deserve an opportunity to kind of reconnect to what makes you feel powerful. What is like your sovereignty? Where is your kind of sense of who you are and what you really truly need? So I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to kind of pull random cards and kind of see what is up here. So I have quite a few decks around me. But first I'm going to start with some tarot cards. So let's see. There's going to be a little bit of noise. Just trying to make sure we have everything kind of shuffled here. All right. I'm not the best shuffler. Very first card, we have 7 of Wands. Child of Wands. Okay, we're getting a lot of fire. 2 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles, and then the Ace. I think this one should be reversed. Yeah. All right. So with the tarot cards, we're getting quite a bit of this like energy of wanting to kind of get out there, do what we need to do. Very first card I have here is the 7 of Wands. And to me, this can talk about like rising above certain challenges in a lot of different ways, in the sense of, really paying attention to the different options and choices that are kind of being made available to you due to what it is that you're passionate about, that you're focusing on, what it is that is like really speaking to you at this time. And I think it's really talking about trying to overcome anything that you feel has been directed towards you, anything that you feel has been slowing you down, anything that you feel has not really been working out in your favor. I think the biggest thing that tends to come with the energy of the 7 of Wands is that it's asking you to not get frustrated with the process, to really figure out what it is that you need to focus on and what is driving you. Now, Wands to me also have like this spiritual element that kind of comes with it. And I think that maybe there is a sense of maybe redirecting what it is that you believe in, really refocusing your intentions in ways that are much more, I don't want to say like malleable, but maybe a little bit more cohesive, I think is probably a better word for this. Of really making sure what it is that you're focusing on, where your attention is going, what's kind of calling you at this current time, what it is that you feel drawn to, and really chasing after that. Because next to that, we have the Child of Wands. I can never pick these up with my nails. So the Child of Wands is essentially the Page of Wands. So this is about kind of going out into the world, really rediscovering things. This is definitely momentum and that push and that drive to really rediscover what it is that you feel has been calling out to you at this time. And I think for a lot of us is that we tend to feel a little bit uncomfortable with the idea of being a novice or not having as much experience in certain ways. And I think that this is really kind of saying, like, it's fine. It's fine if you don't have that much experience or don't know exactly what it is that you're going after, but it is your time to just kind of get out there and try. Now, next up, we have the Two of Pentacles, which this can just talking about bringing balance and harmony back into your life, especially when it comes to like the physical body, with work, with career, finances, your home. This is a wonderful time to do that spring cleaning and do what is necessary to kind of welcome back this new energy into your life while also trying to maintain a better balance moving forward. Now, twos to me really reflect this energy of being able to make those choices, trying to find a little bit more harmony, looking at our partnerships and relationships. And now as we're kind of going into this full moon and Libra lunar eclipse, which will be in the sign of Libra, which is all about partnerships and connections, I think that it's maybe talking about establishing those roots within those relationships as we kind of move forward. And I know for a lot of us, we feel that maybe relationships are kind of one way and that's it, instead of recognizing that relationships continuously are growing and are their own kind of entity separate of the people that are involved in the relationship. And so we have to be very mindful of who we are becoming, what we're prioritizing, what we find significant in our relationships. So I do think that this is kind of saying, like, what kind of people are you surrounding yourself with? What sort of things do you believe in? What sort of options are you giving yourself? And what sort of choices are you making in order to bring more balance and harmony into your life and stop trying to do everything by yourself? This is not the time to do that. Now, we have the Four of Pentacles, which to me, this can just talk about establishing a firm foundation, but it can talk about maybe a sense of discontent or maybe holding back in some ways. I do think that whenever I see this card, I think that there is like this energy of maybe being a little bit afraid of letting other people in or letting other people support you in some ways, just due to feeling like it's hard for you to rely on others and to open yourself up to the possibility of losing that at some point. And I know for a lot of us, especially when it comes to partnerships and relationships, if we feel a little bit inexperienced and we feel like in the past we've dealt with like other people's, not so great intentions, we can kind of want to like remove ourselves and put ourselves in a position where we don't feel that support. We don't feel that growth and that potential really allowing us to kind of move into the next level. And I think with the Four of Pentacles, it's kind of saying like your strength is yours. Someone cannot remove that, right? But you will grow better if you have the right support, if you have the right people around you, if you find a better balance between things. Now, finally, I have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. And I would look at this as maybe this is not to say a warning, but maybe something to keep in mind, an addendum, so to speak. I think with this that it is really just kind of telling you maybe right now is not the best time to plant the seeds for what it is that you want moving forward exactly and wholly, because maybe you're still trying to establish what it is that you want and how you want it to look. And I know sometimes a lot of us we're like, oh, it's spring, let me do all of this and blah, blah, blah. And this is definitely the energy of spring beginning and kind of saying plant those seeds, do what you got to do, recognizing that from small things, big things grow. And I think what this is that it's maybe saying, maybe right now it's time to look at what seeds we're trying to germinate and really paying attention to what is viable, what is actually going to take us where we need to go. This isn't about just moving for the sake of movement. I think that it's really reflecting this energy of reconnecting to what drives us and paying attention to how we are planting those seeds. Sorry, my dog always wants to get up and do stuff. So if you hear little ears smacking, that's my dog. And so I think it's more of a reflection of reconnecting a little bit to what it is that you want actually moving forward and not trying to rush that process. And maybe that is where that strength card is kind of coming back in to kind of give you a little bit more of this energy to pay attention to and reflect on. So let's see what animal guide we need here. I haven't looked at these and I'm not too... We have water dragon. Balance goes very well with the Two of Pentacles. When I think of water, I don't think of a dragon. So I don't think I've ever even heard of this animal. So I do think that this is maybe saying, like, because of that water element, maybe connect to how you really truly feel about things before you kind of go after the thing that you're wanting to do. So finding that balance, reconnecting with that energy a little bit more. And I think it's interesting. We have this little like salamander and then we have this little dragon here. And it's all going together very well. All right, so what else should we get? All right, so worry not. All right, don't stress about it. Worrying is not always as beneficial as we feel like it can be. I remember someone, I don't remember if I read it or if I heard it, where it's like worrying is like praying for something you don't want. And as someone that is trying to rewire and retrain my brain to focus on the good, to focus on the beautiful, the, kind of magnetizing the things that I really want to focus on. And as someone that a self-proclaimed worrywart, I will say that this is something I do tend to struggle with. So I totally get it, but I do think that it's a good reminder. And maybe that's where that balance energy is coming from, because it's kind of saying like, find that balance. Don't worry so much about what's happening and why it's happening. And I hope everything is still in frame. All right, what else should we pull? Since it is the beginning of spring, I'm going to pull a resurrection card. So the Graduate. I have no idea what this means. I would maybe look at it as maybe you're moving from one phase into the other. I like all these colors and how everything's kind of matching what I have here. So maybe it's kind of saying like, give yourself the props for how hard you've been working and what you know, and what you've overcome and what you've been doing. Maybe you're just not giving yourself enough of that reflection or opportunity to kind of say like, look at how much I've accomplished. And I'm too stuck in this like, well, I don't know what to do next because it's new. And so it feels a little bit scary, but maybe it's saying, hey, you know a lot more than you're realizing in a lot of ways. And here we have letting go. So this is about timing. You need to forgive yourself and others and process those emotions. Again, we have that kind of water dragon kind of energy of finding that balance. It's time to release some of the blocked emotions that are not allowing you to kind of move forward, especially when it comes to how you've been treated in the past and how you feel about what you're capable of doing moving forward. It's about reestablishing your foundation in different ways, but you have to surrender. You have to let go. You have to, again, I think with this Libra full moon that's coming up on Monday, we have this potential to really work on our interpersonal relationship with ourselves. All right, and then I'm going to do one final little card here. So I am safe. So for you guys, it's all about being safe with yourself, giving yourself permission to feel safe within yourselves and to really move out of any kind of energy that has felt a little bit stuck. I'm going to pull a couple little charms, so it's going to get loud. Let me see, what do we got here? All right. So we have the Star, which to me is really about hope, faith, reestablishing what it is that you believe in, allowing yourself that opportunity to connect in new ways with others, and also allowing yourself to shine. You know, it's safe for you to shine. And then we have this little coyote tooth bone, which to me just talks about minding your words, minding how you speak, making sure that the things that you say about yourself and others are actually like what you want it to be, if that makes sense. It's like really understanding the superpower that it is to speak and the stories that you say, as well as being very mindful of what you're hearing about what others are saying and kind of feeling that bite, I think, would be another thing that I would want to say with this kind of energy of just making sure that you are fearsome in that strength that you have within yourself and understanding that your words have a lot of power. So thank you so much for joining me, pile number one. I hope you enjoyed. Have a fantastic week. Take care. I will see you next time. Hello and welcome, pile number two. So for you, we have this tree agate, which is actually not really an agate, but this to me really talks about reconnecting to nature, reconnecting to what makes you feel safe and secure and rooted and established. I think that this is maybe a reminder to spend some time out in nature if you possibly can. So I hope that makes sense and brings you a little bit of clarity. And the card that I pulled for you is actually going to be the Ace of Pentacles, which is all about planting those new seeds of really looking at what you're willing to put a lot of your efforts and time into, what you're trying to grow, what I feel like it's very much like, this energy of like really understanding that all of the little things that you're doing right now will turn into something very beautiful later on, depending on how much nurture and care you're giving it. So I hope that makes sense. But we're going to pull a couple of cards. Let's start with some tarot cards. Let's see. First we have, I think, the Chariot reversed. The Nine of Pentacles. I don't feel like that's not. Yeah, I think that's good. Nine of Pentacles. The Elder of Cups reversed. Yeah. I just want to make sure we're doing the right way. The Eight of Wands. That one feels upright for me. And then the Hermit. Okay. A lot of majors in this little 5-card spread. We got 2 major cards. Okay. So very first thing we have is going to be the Chariot reversed. Now, to me, this can just symbolize that maybe you have felt like things have not really been moving the way that you thought they were going to. Maybe there's been a little bit of hesitation or a sense of like, I don't want to say like slowness, but maybe things have just not really been charging ahead the way that you thought they were going to. And it's interesting because we're about to move into Mercury retrograde on April 1st. And so I think a lot of us are starting to kind of have this like anxiousness or angsty kind of feeling of like, I just want to get up and go. I just want to do the thing. I'm tired of waiting, blah, blah, blah. And so I think with the Chariot, it's kind of saying like, you've just been having to hold back in some way. So we're not seeing a lot of the progress and movement that we thought we were going to. But in that, it is allowing, sorry, I can never pick up these with my nails. The Nine of Pentacles to me is really just say that you will get your well-deserved reward for your efforts and your dedication. So all of the potentialities that you've been focusing on, especially when it comes to work or your physical body or money, or even just like, your physical space, it seems like a lot of things are coming to a head in the sense of you're starting to see a lot of the progress that maybe you weren't seeing previously, that maybe felt like, oh, things are not, there's no rush. It's like a trickle. And this is kind of saying like the trickle's been enough. It's still giving us exactly what we need. And so we don't need to question it quite so much. And I think with the Nine of Pentacles is that it's saying that maybe you need to let something go, like prune something back and, remove whatever is no longer beneficial moving forward. So this may be a good time to kind of clear out your spaces. Sorry. Maybe it's a fantastic time to kind of reflect on what it is that you're prioritizing moving forward, being okay with the things that are, in essence, kind of being removed from you at this time, because the nines are saying, we want you to move forward, but you have to kind of drop some weight. You have to let some stuff go. You can't travel with everything everywhere that you're trying to go. And especially with the Chariot here being reversed, I feel like if there has been a sense of like, I want to go, but things have not been working out, this is kind of saying like, what do you need to let go of so that things can really move for you? Now, next to that, I got the Elder of Cups reversed, and this is the King of Cups in traditional tarot decks. So this to me being reversed is saying there's something here that emotionally is not being processed. Maybe you haven't been nurturing yourself. Maybe you haven't been taking care of yourself. Maybe you've been too focused on the material, the physical, or work and things like that. So it's made it a little bit challenging for you to kind of plant that seed of taking care of yourself, prioritizing yourself, and reconnecting to your intuition. So if you've been feeling a little bit blocked or a little bit like sluggish when it comes to your intuition, or feeling like it's hard for you to kind of trust it, I think that maybe this is kind of saying, like, give it an opportunity to kind of move forward the way that you need. Now, when I think of this as well, like the thing that just kind of popped in my head was the Saturn being in Pisces. And I feel like that would be definitely like King of Cups reversed energy, because Pisces is like wants no bounds. It is very much this like free kind of like all things exist in me sort of energy. There's a lot of this like dreamy illusion kind of element to it. And then Saturn is very much the planet of restriction and hardship, and very much saying like, hey, get it fucking together, basically. And I think that this is kind of saying like, hey, we are not feeling like things are really progressing the way that we wanted. Maybe we're dealing with a lot of different restrictions that feel very, I don't want to say like we're being chained down, but maybe we feel like it's hard for us to kind of move past certain things because all we're seeing are like the red tape, or that kind of like sense of like, I can't really do this, or I don't really know how this can happen. And it's interesting because with that Nine of Pentacles right in the middle, we have all this watery element. It's like, there's this part of us that's like, I just want my things to kind of happen. And there's all this like kind of pent up emotion that needs to be processed. And the thing is that we need that water to really feed and nourish and, you know, grow the seed that we're trying to plant. And so it's almost saying like, by blocking ourselves, we're not allowing ourselves to kind of move into that. Now, to support a lot of this energy, we have the Eight of Wands underneath to kind of say like, we're going to get our second wind. So we're going to feel like things are finally starting to see that progression, that momentum, that movement. And when I think of the number 8, I think it's very much this energy of looking at our structure, you know, looking at what is it that we're trying to do. And I feel like the number 8 can kind of bring a lot of like this like responsibility, but like things that we want, if that makes sense, and a lot of like our rewards because of our hard work and efforts. And I think that there's a little bit of a sense of like perfectionism that tends to come with the number 8 too. It's like infinity, right? And so I think it's like we're wanting to kind of have this like legacy of like what's moving forward and what's coming at us in different ways. So I do think that maybe we're going to start to see a lot of the progress of our hard work and efforts finally really come to fruition and start moving the way that we need. So maybe within the next couple of days, we're going to be like, okay, boom, I have the energy. I feel like I'm finally doing what I need to do. I've been listening to like what I have going on within myself. I'm planting those seeds. I'm starting to see that growth. And finally, we have the Hermit, which I think is really just a reminder to seek yourself out. Take some time out to reconnect to yourself. And I think with these other cards being reversed and being such like emotionally charged cards, I think that they're kind of saying like you need some time out to take care of you. You haven't really been listening to yourself. And so this is about really understanding that it's okay for you to take a step back and to heal yourself in the ways that you need, so that when you plant those seeds, again, it's like when we think of a seed, you know, it's under soil, it's in darkness. And I think this is that kind of energy where it's kind of saying like, in that darkness, that is where your light will truly shine. And don't be afraid to kind of be a little bit, not pulled back, but maybe, and I don't want to say buried either, because that sounds kind of like there's, I think, a lot of negative connotations of that, but maybe it's like you're not buried, you've been planted. And so this is really about what is going to grow from this beautiful light that is shining within all of this darkness. And how can you seek out your wisdom in these things and really understand what it is that you need. So I hope that makes sense. Now, let's see. Let's get an animal card. I don't really use this deck too much except for like intuition tests. So let's see. All right. Manta Ray, presence. Again, I don't really use this deck. When I think of the word presence, I think it's more of just being here, being aware, being very connected to what is going on. And I think it goes very well with the Hermit energy, where it's kind of saying like, what are you focusing on? Where is your presence? What is driving you at this time? How can you just like flow through the things that are kind of happening around you and not let it be something that is disruptive to you? All right, so I hope that makes sense. Now I'm going to pull from the Mystic Rebels. So forgiveness. And I think maybe this is kind of connected to this Elder of Cups energy, is forgiveness. And forgiveness isn't to say that you're excusing someone's behavior. Forgiveness is something that can be even given to yourself, whether it's forgiveness of, oh, I'm sorry I was trying to rush. Oh, I'm sorry that I was not being patient with myself. Oh, I'm sorry that I haven't taken the time out to connect to myself, or that I haven't had the belief that I'm doing exactly what I need to do. And I think forgiveness can be something as easy as just opening up that space to heal the things that maybe have been blocking you. And maybe that's why we have this presence energy too. I love all these colors that we have going on here. All right, let's pull a resurrection card. So write your own story. I think this is beautiful. And I think it goes very well with the presence energy, as well as the Ace of Pentacles, where it's really saying, hey, you need to take time out to reconnect to who you are, what you need, what is speaking to you at this time, and maybe giving yourself permission to kind of say, all right, things weren't really moving the way that I wanted them to. Maybe there's a lot of emotional baggage that I'm kind of carrying that's kind of keeping me from being able to kind of move forward the way that I would like. But maybe it's time for you to really focus on what is going on within yourself and what it is that you need. The other thing with this is that I've been doing this scripting challenge with Bossy Bruja, and she actually just posted a video on her YouTube on like what she's been doing and how it's working. This is like the second week that I've been doing it. I find that it is such a beautiful exercise, and it is me writing my own story because it's scripting. And I think maybe doing something like that, where it's some sort of journalistic exercise where you can kind of sit with yourself and say, what do I want to see? What would my life look like if I were to be able to have everything that I write become my truth? And you would probably pay attention to what sort of words you're saying. And I think that's that presence kind of energy. And maybe that's where that forgiveness needs to come from, is that, oh man, I didn't realize I was telling myself such hard stories about what my truth is and what I'm capable of doing. All right, now let's do an elemental empath. This is about inner authority. So trust yourself, listen to your true self, looking at whatever trauma you've been carrying versus like the guidance. And I think it goes very well with forgiveness, because I think when we have that energy of really forgiving ourselves, working with ourselves, moving past those limitations, we reestablish a connection to our inner authority in ways that allow us to feel not just empowered, but also allow us to feel very open to what is trying to kind of happen. And I think with like trauma versus guidance, I think that is also severely important at this time, because I think a lot of us kind of speak from our wound. We focus on the things that haven't worked, or we focus on the things that maybe we feel haven't really worked for us previously. And we're letting this kind of blocked energy redirect how we are showing up in different ways. And I think this is kind of saying like, let's not do that. All right, let's get an affirmation card to see how we can be supported at this time. So I am open to redirection. And I think that is very much this kind of chariot energy reversed, is maybe there's different things that are trying to happen here. And this is an opportunity for you to really show up in your presence, to write your own story, to find your inner authority, to forgive, and to really plant new seeds in this new direction. All right, I'm going to pull a couple of charms. It's going to be a little loud here. All right, so here we have a bamboo bead, a bone bead. And this can just talk about financial abundance, hard work, dedication, structure, and maybe there is an opportunity to kind of change the sort of work you've been doing. Maybe it's saying you need to refocus on what your body and your soul needs in order to move forward. And next to that, I have the plane, which to me can just represent higher mind. It can represent travel, momentum, movement, really being able to kind of hurry up and like get to where you need to go. Because I feel like planes, as much as it feels like an inconvenient thing to do, it is a lot more convenient to take a plane ride than a car ride to the same destination. And even understanding that cars even have like their limitations, like they can't cross water and things like that. So I think with this is almost saying like, what is it that you need to hurry up and get to? What is it that maybe you've been kind of holding back on because you're trying to maybe do it in a car, basically like the chariot? And what momentum do you need to kind of allow to happen moving forward and really expand how you get there? So I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much for joining me, Pile 2. Please take care, stay safe. Let me know what you thought about this reading, and have a good one. Hello, pile number 3. I hope that this reading finds you well. And today we're going to start with Sunstone. So Sunstone to me is very much the energy of like harnessing the sun in some ways. This is about warmth and joy and really finding what makes you happy and shining in different ways. So maybe this is an energy you need to tune into now that spring has begun. So let's see what tarot card we have for you today. We actually have the sun. How funny. I didn't look at these cards before I did them. I just was like, let me pull a couple of crystals and see what we have here. So the sun is what it sounds like. This is about shining. This is about finding what makes you happy, where your joy is, what drives you at this time, what makes you feel alive in new ways. And I think the beautiful thing with this is that it's really saying like, hey, this is your time to shine. This is your time to really pay attention to what is trying to show up for you. It looks very Aries to me, even though the sun does not roll over Aries. But I feel like with the little helmet and things like that, it's very much reminding me of, what is it, like Hermes? No, Helios was the sun god, right? And so I feel like it's very much that kind of like energy of connecting a little bit more to the sun's phases, like what's going on, maybe spend some time out in nature and find ways to shine. So we're going to start with some tarot cards. Pile number 3. Let's shuffle them a little bit. See what's up. So, all right. So first off, we have the Wheel of Fortune, the 6 of Pentacles, the Child of Pentacles reversed, 6 of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. That's funny. I think I've gotten the Ace of Pentacles in every single one of these readings. So it is what it is. All right. So very first card I want to start off with is going to be the Wheel of Fortune, which is, this is just kind of saying like things are flowing. It is time to just go with the flow. Things are shifting and changing for better. If you've been feeling like things have not really been going or things have not really been changing the way that you need them to, the Wheel of Fortune is here to say, all right, it's time for these changes. It's time for things to shift. It's time for you to show up and really understand that the things that are currently changing, even if they feel challenging or scary or confusing, are for your highest good. And it's because you're finally ready to kind of move into a different story. Now, next to that, we have the 6 of Pentacles, which during changes, we can all struggle with finding that balance and being receptive to giving and receiving in different ways. Now, when I think of the 6 of Pentacles, this can talk about work, this can talk about the physical body, this can talk about money. It can just talk about a variety of different things. And so maybe this is kind of saying like, look around, make sure that the people that are showing up in your life are there because they are beneficial, in the sense of, not to say like you only need people that are good for you, but I think it's more of just recognizing and realizing that this is an opportunity for you to reflect on why you haven't allowed yourself to be supported in different ways. And I think with the 6 of Pentacles, it's very much that invitation to kind of move into that energy of saying, all right, from this point forward, I really want to focus on people that are watering me back, are showing up for me as well, that really want to see me actually do different things and not just remain kind of stagnant. This is about, again, kind of like priming the pump of prosperity in different ways and kind of seeing where your hard work has been taking you. Like the Wheel of Fortune is saying, hey, things are trying to change. And in that, one of those things that may have to change is how much you give and how much you receive. Now, next to that, we have the Child of Pentacles. There's a lot of pentacles in this reading. So obviously, some stuff going on with either your stability, your work, your finances, your physical body, your physical health. And the Child of Pentacles reverse is kind of saying maybe you've lost a little bit of that sense of wonder that can kind of come from the pages, because it's the Page of Pentacles. And maybe it's saying like it's time to kind of reinvigorate that sense. Maybe you for too long have been so focused on everything you need to do for everybody else that it's hard for you to find what makes you feel a little bit more at home in this like sense of it's okay if I don't really know everything. And I relate to this so much. And that's the reason why I struggle so much, I think, with YouTube, and I'm trying to be consistent, is because I feel like I'm not super experienced in it. That what is the point of even trying? But the only way you gain experience is by doing something. So very Child of Pentacles kind of energy, especially reversed. So I think with this is it's almost saying like it's an opportunity for you to maybe look within, look at those dreams that maybe you haven't given a lot of opportunity to. Maybe there's different things within yourself that want to kind of come out. I feel like this is very much kind of like inner child stuff that is trying to kind of be addressed, or maybe it's a time to kind of welcome that energy. Now, underneath that, we have the Six of Wands. Now, this is a beautiful card in the sense of you're going to have that recognition. You're going to have people like really seeing your successes. This is very much like success and stability in a lot of ways. This is like everyone really showing up for you and celebrating you in different ways, and allow yourself to be celebrated. Because I think for a lot of us, it's like we get so stuck in this kind of loophole within ourselves of, I don't really know what I'm doing. It's hard for me to find a better balance. And having these two sixes is that this is the responsibilities and this is the reward. So it's almost saying like, all right, you've done everything that you needed to do. So why not celebrate and enjoy the fruits of your labor? And I think with this card is that it's really kind of saying like, give yourself an opportunity to take a step back and kind of pat yourself on the back and say, man, I've done a really kick-ass job, and I deserve to have that recognition for what I have done and what I have overcome and what I want to do moving forward. Next to that, I have the Ace of Pentacles, which again, I got this in all of the readings. So obviously we all are going through something with this. I think the Ace of Pentacles is this beautiful kind of energy of like really understanding that what we are planting will continuously grow into something really beautiful. And I think with the Ace of Pentacles is that it's saying, what seeds have you been planting? Because the sun is here, things are shifting, you're finding that balance, you will be celebrated. But what comes next? What is it that you really have been maybe forgetting to kind of connect to? And I think with this Child of Pentacles kind of being reversed, pointing at this, it's almost saying like, what is it inside of you that maybe you're like, man, I really wish I could have done that. Or as a kid, kind of saying like, man, when I grow up, I want to do this, or I've always been interested in this, or I've always wanted to learn more about that. And I think with the Ace of Pentacles, it's saying it's time to kind of move into this energy and plant those seeds for the future and nurture them and give it an opportunity to shine the way that it needs to. So I do think with all of these cards that there are some big shifts maybe coming into your work life. If you haven't already had some sort of big transition when it comes to work, finding a better balance between the things that you have been doing and the other things that you're kind of receiving in different areas of your life, giving yourself an opportunity to explore different dreams within yourself or different opportunities to kind of have that sense of wonder about the things that you're doing, celebrating everything that you've accomplished and allowing others to celebrate you too is a big thing. And then planting the seeds for the future. So let's see what we have for an animal to support us. I feel like I want this one. I don't really use this deck too much, so let's see. Oh my God, I cannot get this card. All right, let's see. What do we got? It's a pig. It's abundance. It's so cute. I don't really use this deck. It's so cute. I love pigs. All I'll have to tell y'all, I used to work with pigs all the time. They're very intelligent. But to me, this is really kind of saying like calling in this energy of abundance. And I think with all these pentacles, it is really saying it's your time to shine. It's your time to find that warmth. And abundance isn't just money. I know for a lot of us, when we focus on money, we focus on abundance, we focus on finance and money. And yes, that is a big part of it, but abundance can be health, it can be love, it can be time, it can be experience, it can be opportunities, it can be the just like the needs that you have being met in so many different ways. And I think this is kind of saying like, it's your time. It's your time to live in that warmth and that joy. And as you do, really magnifying the beautiful abundance already in your life. And so that you can celebrate and feel very comfortable to kind of plant the seeds of the future. So let's see, I want to pull one of these Mystic Rebel cards. What do you got? Trust your intuition. I think that this is a beautiful card in the sense of really focusing on, connecting a little bit more to that part of yourself, not neglecting what feels right for you. And I think with these seeds that are trying to be planted, especially with this like Child of Pentacles reversed, maybe it's saying, hey, there's something here that you haven't really checked back into, and maybe you're forgetting that. And so there's a reason why you feel drawn to that. And it's so easy to write off some of our desires or dreams, especially the intuitive kind of things that come through, because we feel like, oh, I don't know, and how is that going to work? And we get so caught up in like the worldly sort of aspects of how we're going to make this thing happen, versus just giving the universe that, hey, go ahead, and letting everything come as it needs to. And I think the trust your intuition, it's kind of saying like, really allow yourself to have whatever feels good and easy and joyful and like you. I think that's what it's wanting you to focus on with this trust your intuition. All right, let's pull a resurrection card. So here we have the Mother of Invention. I don't really use this deck too much, but I think the last time I pulled this card, I think it had something to do with like really recognizing that we hold so much power within ourselves, and really recognizing and reflecting on that energy by seeing everything in motion. And I think it goes very well with the Wheel of Fortune. There's a lot of these beautiful colors in here, lots of oranges and warmth colors here. And I think it may also be a connection to the sacral chakra, that creativity, that, that womb, so to speak, for women, or kind of the space of creation and reproduction in a lot of different ways, whether it's like sensually, sexually, really like looking at our creativity in different ways, and the things that we're trying to kind of plant those seeds moving forward, whether it's a new life, physically or figuratively. Maybe it really just talks about, finding what it is within ourselves and kind of nurturing a little bit of that. We have this child over here that's reversed, and here we have the Mother of Invention. So someone's saying like, we need to mother that part of ourselves. We need to connect to that so that things can shine and we can have this abundance that we're looking for. All right, let's look at this Elemental Empath. So this is the collective. This is all is connected. This is about the collective. This is about growth and being supported. And I think this is very much like the Six of Pentacles in a lot of energy, by saying, hey, we need to connect with other people that see us. We need to kind of change things, allow things to kind of flow, allow us to be supported and celebrated in different ways, recognizing that everything that we are trying to do is being supported. And who else to do that for us but the people that surround us and love us in different ways? So I hope that's making sense so far. And then we're going to move on and get an affirmation card. I choose flow. Very much Wheel of Fortune. You just have to go with it. Don't try to control. Don't try to make it more complicated than it needs to be. Again, Jesus take the wheel sort of thing. It's like, we can only do so much. And I think for a lot of us, it's like, that is the biggest thing when it comes to the Wheel of Fortune, or kind of relying on abundance, is that we try to control every single little aspect of it. And that's not what this is about. This is about just flowing. This is about trusting your intuition, really mothering yourself through things, allowing abundance to come in, allowing other people to support us in different ways. All right, let's pull a couple of charms and see what's up. It's going to be loud. Sorry. for my microphone user or headphone users. Wasn't feeling those. All right. We have luggage. Again, there's some stuff that we need to unpack here. There's something that's blocked, whether that is understanding that we've been carrying things that really no longer make sense for who we are and where we are at. And we're forgetting that by carrying some of these things, it doesn't allow us to really trust our intuition. It's not allowing us to kind of open up the bag, basically, to abundance and filling it up with the things that we really need and want. And next to that, I have the button, which this is all about connection. This is all about friendship and community and the collective, in the sense of really making those connections with people that are willing to put in the hard work and put in the efforts necessary in order for everything to come together. Because again, what does a button do? It brings things together, right? So I think it's really about that togetherness and bringing that energy back into your life. It's time to get a little social and have some joy and some fun, and maybe pack your bags to take a little bit of a trip. So I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much for joining me, Pile 3. As always, I appreciate you guys checking out my videos. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, let me know. And if you ever are looking for a personalized one-on-one reading, I do offer them on my website. Links are in my description box, I think is what it's called. So have a good one. Take care. Take it easy. Have a good time and be good to you.